Welcome to the Ian and Jane Show. We're here at Edinburgh Festival Fringe, day 9, show 2. Not for me. I was off doing a podcast for Jamie. Wow.
Well, we'll keep that in.
We'll keep that in. I think that was a jet.
That was a very low-lying
Very low jet. Flying over.
Wow.
Oh, actually, it might be. Is it to do with the tattoo? Because don't they have jets going over it sometimes?
Not
this early.
No, it doesn't start till 9:30 at night.
Anyway, sorry, we digress, viewers.
Maybe it was something to do with the Oasis.
This is Jet Talk. Welcome to Jet Talk.
Well, you can see our reaction. It was exactly. A bit loud.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Okay. Back to it. So this was a show called
"It's Not Where You Start." So this involved quite a long walk across town for me, which was fine. Except I met all the Oasis fans coming back.
Oh yeah, some ropey band are playing in Scotland tonight.
Ooh, controversial. So
well, people know what I think about Oasis.
So this was in the Lomond Theatre in the Pleasance at the EICC. So that it's quite big. It's like, these hotel reception room type things. But it was actually the first performance. It's not on for very long, and this was the first. And I think there were only about 20, maybe 25 people, and some of those people were involved with the production of so it was a shame. Anyway, so Scott Kyle, who I have to confess I don't know anything about, but it was the blurb in the programme which sort of got me. A true story about how a former latchkey kid from Glasgow found himself starring alongside Hollywood icon Harrison Ford. But the most incredible part of the story is what happened when the cameras stopped rolling. And I was beginning to wonder about that, because interestingly, it had started. There was a big screen. The stage was sort of slightly raised, and in front of the screen was what was obviously the inside of a prison room, because there was a toilet.
Oh, right.
And then to the side of that was a desk and had things on it, and I think that there was a cabinet behind, and obviously an office chair. And it began with the Hollywood MGM, logo thing, and that bit of music, and then the titles came up as though it was, and then the sort of Star Wars thing started, and they sort of faded, and I thought, oh, right, okay. And then there was an animation about an event that had happened to Scott. We sort of, I gathered that, and it was what he thought was going to be the biggest night of his life.
Can you just ask how long was the animation?
It was probably between 5 and 10 minutes long.
Oh wow, so it's quite a long then.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Well, maybe 5 or 6, maybe not as much as 10.
Because it wasn't like
because there were 4 animations in this.
Right, okay.
All different styles. Well, the 2 first were done by the two same people, and they'd won awards, and those awards were actually on the table. So this was about a very pivotal event in his life. Things have been going really, really well. Then he was told something at a particular. He was expecting to be celebrating with family, and he had to hide what he knew about it. I can't. Well, I don't want to. But that's what the animation was about.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
Yeah, it depicted.
Because that's slightly confusing.
Well, it depicted all of that.
Right.
So it was about an event that had happened in his life.
Okay.
But it was all depicted in animation.
Right. Okay.
He then came out of a side door. And I must say, I didn't know whether we were supposed to clap because he'd arrived, It was all, I was sort of I wasn't quite sure where this was going. He then talks about that. He then
the incident you're talking about there.
Then he refers
the animation
to
incident,
the fact that it's all in his new book, and then
Okay.
his new book is produced, which somebody put behind the toilet. So he showed us the book, and then subsequent pieces of animation were all had chapter headings, so they obviously related to the book. But they were all about his life, and he talked about his early life and things that had happened. And then it was, it was quite interesting to see it all depicted in animation.
Okay.
But it was this mix of animated films
And him.
Talking.
I'm not so sure that you
Sorry.
are picking up that you actually necessarily liked it.
No, I'm trying to depict what exactly happened
without any spoilers.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how he, because then I'm telling the story of his life, which he does.
Yeah.
And he's been an actor, producer, he's an author, he's written things, so it's a lot about his family, his upbringing. It's all very interesting. And it then sort of, he talks about it going full circle because he and his wife are foster carers, and he did have a brief period in foster care. He got into this acting, and then he talks quite a lot about meeting Harrison Ford and actually having a scene with him in an advert that was, I don't think we've seen it. It was about whiskey.
All right.
And that had been animated, so we saw that as well. And so he was then speaking for the majority of it behind the desk.
Right.
And on the desk, he had the 2 awards for the animations. He had his book again.
Yeah.
So, there were times when I thought, this is
sales pitch.
A sales pitch for his book. That's what I'm trying. I mean, you got his history, and he did say, he was quite, he came over as a really nice guy, very open to suggestions, because that's what he's done a lot of things with his life, and he's been, had times of sort of poverty and difficulties, and he's had good times. I mean, he was very honest. He was very honest, and I like that about him. To the point that he said, look, I haven't sort of done this before. I've been involved in other productions, but this is the first time we've done this. And it would have been quite interesting to have a conversation with him, but I didn't feel sort of qualified to do that.
Yeah. And we don't really do interviews anyway. So.
No. And he was chatting to other people because because then he went off because there was a bookstall, and the guy, as I went in, said, "Oh, do you want to buy a book?" And there were various books of other things plus this new book. And then Scott had obviously offered to do, anybody who wanted to buy a book, then sign it. But he is there. Why? And then I learned at the end why. I'm thinking, why the toilet? Because I deliberately, when I walked in, I thought, because we've been to some productions where toilets feature, and it's not a good memory. And so I thought I was going to sit, and I thought, no, I'm not sitting by the toilet. So I went and sat the other side of the stage to find that the toilet had nothing to do with what he was doing.
So why was the toilet there?
The toilet was there because this production, where it all sort of, the whole thing started, was his very, very successful involvement in a production called Billy and Tim Old Firm Legends. And that production is in there. And that, all the staging is for that, not this, where he's talking about his book and everything. But he didn't tell us that until the end. Otherwise I would have sat closer to the toilet.
No, maybe not.
So
when is it on?
So it is on. I've lost it again. Here we go. So it is on. So it started today. It is on until the 16th. So it's just here for a week, but it's not on Friday the 15th. And it is on at 4:00. And interestingly, so there's 3 dates where it's £21.
Wow.
And
that is the most expensive I think we've
and
seen.
3 dates where it's £19.
Okay, so it's at the top end anyway, but that's quite expensive.
Mm.
How many stars?
I am conflicted about this.
Okay.
Because I think it has the potential. But I think I'm going to say 3.
Oh, right, okay.
But I am conflicted.
That's fine. I mean, by what you've described, I'm not so sure I would have necessarily enjoyed it.
But I would have liked.
You like my opinion?
I think it would have been an interesting one for us to discuss.
It's a shame I couldn't go.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I am. I'm sorry, Scott. I am conflicted about this.
All right. Okay. That's fine. No. Right. We haven't got anything else booked today, but we may go and see some things and we may review them. So if not, we'll see tomorrow because there's more. There's a full day tomorrow. I think we've got 5 things tomorrow.
Okay.
Or at least 4. Well, one of them's anyway.
Okay.
I was just going to say one of them is.
Don't say it. Whatever.
No, well, it's just one of them isn't a show. It's,
I see.
No, one of them is. We've been invited to a
meet the press
thing, which we don't normally do, but we are doing it for space, aren't we? For space. So anyway, that's a sidebar. We'll see you soon.
Cheers. Bye.